Welcome back to the King's Corner, the place for all things Bethesda. I am the KingFanMan with another Fallout 76 video. And hey, if you love Fallout 76 and Bethesda and you're not subscribed yet to the KingFanMan channel, why not? Bethesda's all I talk about here, so go ahead, hit that subscribe button. With clues found in the public test server, we already discussed in a previous video how it appears we might be going into Ohio in our winter update coming this December. The cultists of Point Pleasant are rebuilding the collapsed Silver Bridge over the Ohio River, which will take us into the neighboring Gallipolis, Ohio. What might be creeping on that other side of the river? Well, first, let's look at a current map of Fallout 76 and notice all the land that is already on our map across the Ohio River. The Ohio River runs north to south, creating the western border of our game. The Ohio River is also the border of West Virginia and Ohio. But now look down to the ash heap. The Ohio River turns almost due west. Well, if we look on a real map, you will notice that this turn of the Ohio River is actually the southern border of Ohio, separating Ohio from Kentucky. So you see, we have a large area of Ohio already on our game map. In a recent interview, John Rush mentioned that they plan years in advance for what is coming to the game. Have they had plans all along to take us to Ohio? Even if they don't add anything to the map and only open the borders of the game to what's currently on our map, this is a huge part of eastern and southern Ohio, and I'm so excited to see what may be in those woods just across that Silver Bridge. Well, today, let's do that. Let's cross the Silver Bridge and see what we may find in those eastern Ohio woods. As I mentioned before, just across the Silver Bridge from Point Pleasant, West Virginia, is the small town of Gallipolis, Ohio. Population 3,313, located in Gallia County, Ohio. Now, one thing Gallia County is known for is the sightings of the Mothman. That's right, there have been numerous sightings of the Mothman on this side of the river, and we will look into those sightings and how they may impact the coming update. But Gallia County is also very famous for another cryptid called the Grassman, an orange-eyed, hairy, very large humanoid. Could we be getting a Bigfoot with the upcoming winter update? Remember, with Skyline Valley update, Bethesda added new creatures to the game. Could the Grassman of Gallia County be our next cryptid? Reports of the Grassman near Gallipolis, Ohio go all the way back to 1869. In fact, on January 26, 1869, this report showed up in newspapers as far away as Minnesota and Michigan, detailing a reported wild man in the woods near Gallipolis. He was described as naked, covered with hair, gigantic in height, and having eyes that were darting from their sockets, burning and mantic. The term Bigfoot was not yet known and wouldn't be for many years. The victims were a man named Wes and his daughter, who were riding in their carriage through the woods outside of Gallipolis, Ohio, when this creature jumped into the road as the carriage went by. Wes stated the creature caught his arm in a grip like a vice and hurled him off his seat and pinned him to the ground as his daughter watched in horror and disbelief. The victim stated the wild man was on top of me, scratching me and trying to bite me like a wild animal. The struggle seemed to last forever, though I know it must have only been minutes. We rolled around in the deep mud pit in the road. I truly thought, this is it. I'm going to die, declared the victim. His eyes glared into mine with a murderous and savage intensity that I didn't know was even possible in man nor beast. Sightings of this wild man continued in this area throughout the late 1800s, but no more close encounters were reported until 1912, when a man and his mother encountered the creature again in the woods just outside Gallipolis, Ohio. They described him as having monstrously wide shoulders, over twice the width of a man's, with a bulky head and almost no visible neck. They claimed the creature chased them for a short distance down the road, making growling sounds so loud and strange that no human could make those sounds. The sightings of this creature through the years has become so frequent. One resident of Gallia County stated, "If it weren't so strange and so frightening, it would be just another known thing of our area. But when you see it, he is so jarring, it will change your worldview." The Grassman didn't get his name until the late 1980s and early 1990s, and it originated from reports of the creature's tendency to construct nests or even hut-like structures using tall grass. It was later cemented as the name when Jody Cook published the book, The Traces of the Grassman. Gallia County, as I stated earlier, is also known for sightings of the Mothman. It's important to note at this point and remind you that it's the cultist in Point Pleasant in Fallout 76 who are rebuilding the Silver Bridge. And of course, they are obsessed with learning more and getting closer to the Mothman. Now, most of the sightings of the Mothman in and around Gallipolis, Ohio, happened in the 2-year period of 1966 and 1967, before the collapse of the Silver Bridge on December 15th, 1967. One of the first sightings of the Mothman in Gallipolis was November 17th, 1966, when a young man was driving on Route 7 and reported seeing a gray humanoid 10 foot tall with red eyes and wings who pursued his car for several miles. But it was on December the 4th, 1966, when a very strange event happened which hit the papers and no one could deny. It was 5 pilots and numerous passengers at the Gallipolis airport. They all witnessed what they said they first thought was a small plane flying low and slow, but then realized it wasn't a bird, it wasn't a plane, and it wasn't Superman. It was a large human-shaped creature with huge wings. The pilot and passengers all watched as for several minutes this creature flew at speeds that they figured were close to 100 miles an hour, as it easily kept up and surpassed several vehicles at the airport and even one plane that was circling and trying to land. With all these sightings and more of the Mothman in and around Gallipolis, Ohio, along with the activity of the Mothman cultist and even the clues given in the recent Gone Fishing update, we are assured to learn more about the Mothman and his followers, and most likely its connection to the interloper in the coming biggest update ever. I personally hope we not only meet the Mothman and the Grassman in the woods of Ohio, I'm hoping we will actually see the alive version of the interloper as well. Wouldn't that be fantastic to get not just one new cryptid, but 2, and finally learn the secrets of the interloper? I need to mention just a few more oddities and connections of Fallout 76 and Gallia County, Ohio. If you have the companion Raider Punk, one of the strange things he says is that Vault 76 dwellers have been taken by aliens and dropped in Ohio. Also, in the Brotherhood of Steel questline, they mention a powerful raider group running things in Ohio, destroying settlements that fight back due to their acquisition of Brotherhood tech. Speaking of, I know you have been to the Ohio River Adventures in the game. It is now run by a raider group out of Crater. That's going to be important in just a moment, with very detailed characters and full backstories. Bruiser, a very short-tempered raider, tells you if you don't stop joking, he will punch you across the river. And by the way, have you noticed just how close this operation is to the other side of the river, which is Ohio, just south of Point Pleasant, and of course, Gallipolis, Ohio. By the way, did you know these raiders are adding a mysterious meat to the Mirelurk products you supply them? They say it stretches the meat to make it more lucrative, plus, it gives the meat a flavor people seem to really love. No, that's not disturbing at all. I wonder if Bethesda has had plans all along for these raiders to play a much larger role in this upcoming update. If you remember, the Raiders of Crater, which these raiders are from, all passed through Ohio before arriving in Appalachia. With what was said about Ohio in the Brotherhood of Steel update, I could definitely see these Blackwater bad boys, as they're called, play a key role in the December update. And lastly, in the church at Point Pleasant, in one of the sacred tomes you get to read after completing the Mothman event, it reads, Woods, Ohio, past midnight, gibbous moon, the howl of wolves is quieted by the wind-stirring flutter of tremendous wings. Silence settles over the forest. I sleep unafraid, as the lesser creatures tame their ferocity under the calming influence of the wise Mothman. So too should we cultivate tranquility. More connections of the Mothman and Ohio. Yes, it does appear Bethesda has been planning this adventure into Ohio for years. Well, guys, that's all I have for today. But if you want to find out more about the future of Fallout 76, be sure and subscribe and hit that bell so you'll be notified when my next video comes up. Thank you for spending a portion of your day with me here in the King's Corner. I am the KingFanMan, and I hope to see you out in the wasteland of West Virginia and Ohio soon. Bye, everyone.